1.
He hit it that hard to get onto the pink, but it's not such a... It might come in handy later in this break. In the meantime, the brown, I wonder if he'd got any way of developing the 2 reds by the black. I'm not sure he's got a path through to make that on, but there is definitely a route back into this frame for Carter. Well, that's a little fortunate to get around the back of that red.
5. Six.
That was just a ball's width further. He would have the perfect shot to stun into the 2 reds and the black and open them all up. He might still be able to do it, but it's not quite perfect. So he's playing on the bottom red. I don't know if this right-hand red will free the black and make it potable. I think perhaps the 2 reds
11.
close to the black are stopping it anyway. Definitely Carter's interested in this situation and the fact he could certainly claw his way back into the frame, or even better.
12.
Again on the pink he played. Again, he may not play the pink. Well, if there's a big shot here and he could pot the green and bring the 2 reds into play, that could easily become a frame winner. Everything's got to click right, though. Not sure what he did play. I'm really not sure.
15.
If he played the cannon on the 2 reds, then he was quite a long way off.
Well, now he's sizing up the plant. There's a bit of distance between them. I mean, he's already missed a single red with the rest, hasn't he? In his pocket.
Yeah, to be honest, from that angle, it doesn't look that difficult, but I would tell you, I think it is difficult. I think there's enough distance between the reds. They're not directly in line. If he gets it, it'll be a good shot. Well, it is a good shot. It's terrific, that is. And look at the cue ball, perfect. Very well played. Well, I think we're at crunch time here. The next shot I'm getting onto the colour will tell us if there's any chance of getting these 2 reds into play. And he's got an angle, perhaps to come around 2 cushions. He could stun directly down into the 2 reds or around 2 cushions, which is more of a natural shot, but whether that'll be making the cannon open the reds, another thing. Beautiful shot. Beautiful shot.
27.
Yeah, I mean, he thought he was going to be playing tonight, but he's wide awake, isn't he, here? This is good stuff right from the off for Carter, who's given himself every chance now of taking this second frame. Haotian was going well, Mr. Pink to this pocket. And Ali Carter's Mr. Red to that pocket, so he seemed to have done the hard work getting those reds into play, but has not pressed on.
I think that's exactly it, Dave. Yeah, I think he'd done all the hard work and he felt the pressure on that red to middle, knowing that this really was a golden chance now. He may get another. Haotian will need 2 reds and 2 high-value colours from here.
One. Eight.
Well, he's not really ideally placed here. If he was to play this red plain ball, the cue ball's coming down towards pink or the top right pocket, so he's going to have to screw it. Certainly stun it at least. It's not a plain ball shot. Ooh.
Haotian,
He was
8.
concerned by the cue ball there. Tried to guide it with a bit of stun across the table. And of course the pot became more difficult with everything else on his mind. What if he'll attempt a very thin contact on this red? If he misses it, he's not the end of the world. He can afford the 4 points. It's okay, just about. Chance to get the cue ball in behind yellow or brown here. Played it nicely. There may be a gap, I was thinking, but now I see it again. Perhaps not. It's a very good shot from Carter. He wasn't tempted in the long red. He knew that the safety shot was cast iron to keep everything safe. So a little swerve here through the gap. Not an easy swerve, this. So Carter gets a second chance. Not an easy long red, but if it goes in, we've got a new favourite in the frame.
23. 24.
Well, he certainly, when he potted that first black, he developed a number of balls in this frame, which very much helped things. Because it was a particularly awkward frame, which of course happens in these matches. He's not there yet, but
31.
if he could take the more open reds, 3 of them, be well on his way to winning the frame.
32.
He would still, after that, need another red if he took high-value colours with the other 2 reds. So he's got work to do.
$39. 40.
Played that really nicely. Now,
46.
if he can get an angle on his next colour, he could possibly disturb a red, perhaps one of the 2 below the black, because he'll need, as I say, red high-value colour red to mean that Ali Carter requires a snooker or more. Not sure that's any good. Looks a little straight to me. He's got a lead of 52 points, 59 still available. Very strong favourite, but not guaranteed yet to win the frame. He didn't play a good shot to finish straight on that black and leave himself no real way of getting on the red that would have won in this frame.
Haotian, 54.
Well, it's a nice break, but the frame's still winnable for Carter. 52 in it with 59 on. And when we say 59 on, obviously that's reds with blacks. The black is in play, so it's not like it's on a cushion or can't be potted. Yeah, all the reds are now in the open. And indeed, all the colours are potable as well.
Yeah, I mean, the frame is a little bit better now as far as Carter is concerned. It would not be impossible for a clearance to happen from here. By no means perfect here. I don't know if he could pot the black and cannon the top red of the two and stop it from going too far down the table.
Eight.
Taking over a minute here. There's no obvious pot and no obvious safety shot. It's one of those situations you can't practice for this. I suppose he just could glance off the red and finish in that corner, but yeah. And the other thing he could do is play this with the spider, but it's mighty difficult. If it went in, he could win the frame.
Alicard 8.
I'm not sure why that was any good to him, really. Pushing that red where it is. Options were thin on the ground, however, so maybe he couldn't see another shot. Liu Hushan, the right red to play is the one that Carter's just put safe, but in the back of his mind, he doesn't want to get that red into play himself, but the priority has to be to play the right shot for safety. So he might have to get it back into play. Any other shot? There doesn't seem to be much future in, to be honest.
Well, long old frame. There you go, 40 minutes. Lou Haotian 44 in front, 51, holding all the cards where the reds are, but not yet over the line. Well, this is his chance, obviously, to get this one. He just needs a red, but make sure no playing on for snookers. And 2-2, I think Lou Haotian will be more than satisfied with. Ali Carter has made the breaks in this match and has looked more fluent, but in a sort of tactical frame, it looks like Lou Haotian will prevail. He's not quite finished on pink or black, so he's looking at the blue now, because at the moment it's only one snooker needed. But if you could pot the blue, it'd be two. But if he doesn't pot this, then Carter will feel he's still got a chance. Oh dear.
Haotian, 1.
Yeah, there could be a bit left in this yet.
Once again, he didn't get very close to it.
请保持安静。
Well, he might well feel he's got a chance where the balls are now. When you look where the yellow and green are, the snookers are definitely gettable.
Ali Carter, 8.
Wouldn't expect this snooker to trouble him if there is indeed no gap between brown and blue. As there's always a chance the cue ball could slide down towards the left corner pocket. He's hit it well. Not sure what he tried there. I wonder why he didn't play the red to the right corner. I don't know if he felt there was an in-off or anything, but he's making hard work of getting this frame one, even with the snooker required. You kind of asked for that, you know, Haotian. He's been unable to put this frame away, and now you just wonder if he will at all. Table is very conducive to getting snookers. This is one he should hit, but can easily slide past these on occasions. Hits the snookers well. The last snooker he hit full ball, so he's pretty adept at getting out of them, but Carter will have to make it perhaps a better snooker.
I know one thing, if I was running the bar at this venue, I'd be preparing myself for the stampede at the interval. It's been a long frame, but the crowd have been engrossed in it. But that surely ends it. Lou Haotian has battled. In fact, Ali Carter is marching off to the interval. He's seen enough. It was a long old frame, but Lou Haotian delighted to win it. And this semi-final, a long way to run yet. Level at 2-2. Remember, it's first to 6 to play either Judd Trump or Wu Yize in Sunday's final. Ali Carter has looked the more fluent of the two, but in a tactical frame where I guess you would fancy him, it was Lou Haotian who prevailed. So the players will be back in 15 minutes, and it's set up nicely, level at 2-2. Here at the Wuhan Open gets underway again. Big crowd in, wondering who's going to prevail to take on either Judd Trump or Wu Yize tomorrow. A couple of latecomers literally running into the arena to take their seats.
It's not a great safety shot, although it looks like he's blocked the red down the table with the one close to the top right pocket. And it looked for a while that Carter could start this match with a 1-4-7 break. He was on 8 reds, 8 blacks, just missed a ball, and then continued on his next visit to take reds and blacks after that. So it just felt as if he might make one for a while, even though he stopped at 8 reds. Anyway, if he starts this part of the match like he did the beginning of it, then he'll get himself back in front, I'm sure. Terrific long red, that. It's a good shot. If he's on a red to the middle, but he probably deserves something. It was an excellent red, and then a good, but it would need another good shot here. Well, that red goes, and he'd have to cue down on it. Tough shot, very tough. Certainly to hold for the black as well. Very fine shot indeed. Well, this is another difficult shot. On this break, I mean, he's only played 5 shots in it, but 4 of them have been exceptional. The last black positioning was the one blip, if you like, but he's still going.
Twenty.
Well, as I say, he started the match in very positive circumstances, and he's kind of come out of the blocks equally as well here from the mid-session. Only a break of 21, but I suppose it's like anything. If you can always come out and firing, almost like the way Luca Brazil did all the way through the World Championships, especially in the final. Every time they had a break for the end of the session or mid-session interval, he seemed to come out knocking everything in. It certainly helps. He's gone too far this time by the look of it. That's a pity. This time I'm not sure his next shot will be easy. This thin red.
Yeah, I mean, the interval really came at the perfect time for Ali Carter because it was such a long frame, which of course he lost. So he just had that 15 minutes just to collect his thoughts, regroup, try and get on the front foot, which he's certainly done here so far. Ooh, that black only just went in as well. It's a bit of a high wire act, this break, but they're still going in at least. He had that golden spell last season, didn't he? Won the German Masters and then was runner-up at the Players' Championship to Sean Murphy, who played brilliantly in that tournament. And he said he was motivated, actually, by Chris Wakelin winning the shootout. That was just before the tournament at the Tempodrome. Because in the last frame of the final, Chris Wakelin beat his high break. So he sort of stole the high break prize. And Ali said, OK, next tournament, we'll make something happen. And well, he won it, so it certainly happened, got him back in the top 16. I actually fancied him for a run at the Crucible, but of course he lost to an inspired Jack Jones in round 1.
Yeah, which looked a disappointing result, didn't it, until you saw how well he played after that. He was something of a revelation at the Crucible. Maybe lost on what Brazil achieved and 1 or 2 others. Difficult job to get this back in line, it seems. Not supposed to be touching the red. I think that's the issue. Sometimes the referee put the ball as close to the one in front and it ends up touching, has to be re-spotted. That'll do. Well, he could easily go into this bunch. He's got to miss the pink and just screw to the reds just to the left of the pink. Deciding against it. Taking the left-hand one, I guess, does free up the other one. Fair enough call, actually, because I can see that there is Also pots to the left corner, so he may not have to go into them anytime soon, depending on how he feels about it. He's not going into them again here either. Been a very good break, I have to say. Cue ball's been all around the table.
52.
This is the one I mentioned, the middle red.
'53.
If he goes up for the blue here, which seems likely,
60.
he will need another red. Because he'll only be 66 in front with 67 on. Unless something goes here, he'll have to try and nudge them again. This time I think he has no choice. That'll do. Red to middle. What a break this has been. The first red,
66.
when he came to the table, you wouldn't have thought he would still be going now. The red was difficult up into the yellow pocket. This is excellent stuff from Carter.
Very much like how he started the whole match in frame one. She completely dominated. Hang on. Yes, no problem. On this new cloth. So chance to go on and make a century.
73. '74.
We've had 63 centuries at the venue, 95 in the tournament, including the qualifying round. So there's been some heavy hitting being done by all and sundry. Of course, Carter still joint top of the high break list with Aaron Hill, 145.
'89. 90.
I guess just went slightly missing in the middle of the match, didn't he, or that first session. Could easily have led by a couple of frames. Frame two, he done hard work and then just missed a ball to the middle. Otherwise, he probably could have or should have had a lead of some description. Then the long frame. And he's come out quite fresh for the fifth frame anyway. Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah, no century, but a fine 96, just getting him going again after losing that very lengthy frame six, just getting underway here in this first semi-final of the Wuhan Open. 3-2. 96 in frame five. This is his 28th ranking semi-final, so he's got all the experience. But there's never been, so far, more than a frame between them.
Well, he overhit that one quite a lot. I think that's one of the reasons it never went in. It was not quite on line. The red jumped almost up in the air as it hit the jaws.
One.
It's a nice positional shot. That's giving him the red above the black. Still think about the first time I ever saw Liu Shan in competitive play. Only 14 years of age, quarter-finalist in the international back in 2012. I think he had a reasonably draw through, actually.
4.
But just seemed a little bit too young, really, for it all then. Anyway, that last shot was a terrible shot. He potted the red on the thick side. And I think he had a bit of a rush of blood there. It's almost, he hadn't let the previous shot go, because that was a very thin black. And those last couple of shots, not good at all.
One.
Well, an important visit now, I think, coming up, because Carty looked good in the last frame. If he can do similar here, then it really does put Liu Haotian under it, looking back at that last visit to the table.
I know he'd played such a good shot to get down on the red from this colour. And then the next two shots were dreadful.
7.
I think, as I say, if you do play a bad shot at this game, you've got to count to 10 almost, and not just play something on the spur of the moment because you're still annoyed about the previous shot. And that's exactly what Liu Shan did on that black. It was very thin, and he got nowhere near it without giving it much thought.
Yeah, this is the sort of psychological side as much as the game itself that's so important. Carter sensing he's on top at the moment.
Not sure what that was about, but I think it was good. Somebody was not being complimented, I don't think.
12.
Anyway, like you say, I think you're absolutely right. I think Ali Carter senses something good could happen here, but he's got to make it happen now. And strangely, that can add a bit of pressure to you when you think you've got your opponent not so much beat, but you've got him under pressure. And you've got to make sure that you deliver the killer blow. If you could get a 2-frame lead, it wouldn't be a match-winning lead, but it would be very healthy. Don't forget, first to 6 now. We're at the semi-final stage. We moved up from best of 9 to best of 11.
Well, he's got the black back on its spot, so that can only be a positive. It's a player, I think, he does see snooker very much, you know, as a living. He's not someone who necessarily goes out of his way to mix with the other players. He's an individual who's got a lot of other interests, of course, off table, not least being a qualified pilot.
I think you're right about the not mixing with other players, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, certain players I can think of, leading players, have been like that all the way through. Steve Davis was very much his own man all the years he was dominant in the game. Other players, of course, they need the company of friends and colleagues around them, but Ali is definitely not one of those.
No, as you know, there's certain players, if you go in the players' room, they're always in there unless they're playing, and there's certain players you never see in there.
29. 36. Seven. 44. 45.
So he won the previous frame in one scoring visit. And chance to do the same again here. We'll need a piece of the action with those 5 reds. The left-hand red, of course, he could get on.
52.
And by then, a red and a colour,
53.
high value, would be enough. So would be another frame. Chalked off all of a sudden. It's looking at a little bit of a different game to what it was just before the mid-session interval when Carter was fairly quiet for a while. That's not how he wanted it, although if he's on the red up into the green pocket, then fair enough. Red colour needed. Well, it was a lucky kiss, I think, to be on it into the top right pocket, but he still had to get it. This colour will be enough, and all of a sudden this burst from Carter can take him a couple of frames clear.
$68.
So Carter's made his move, and of course in this frame it came off the back of that rather rash thin black that Haotian attempted, got nowhere near it. So pressure mounting on his shoulders. He won that lengthy 4th frame, but we're now into the real meat of the match, and Ali Carter sensing a chance to pull away to victory. Just needing a chance of frame to win these frames now. And also playing at a good pace, isn't he? You know, he's getting on with it. Obviously feeling confident.
80.
Yeah, I mean, he got a bit bogged down, but I think both players did. Sometimes the balls just don't allow you to play with any freedom, and they went pretty horribly in that 4th frame. 45-minute frame. Now, it's a lot better. I think you've got to stamp your authority on a match, especially against someone like Haotian. He's got a lot of stickability. And he's just on the back of beating Ronnie O'Sullivan at 5-1 yesterday. But the moment, it's all Carter.
We just missed out on the century in the last frame. I get the feeling he's going to make it here. Yellow and green needed.
97.
And you can just see in the body language now, he's bouncing around that table again. He fancies the job. Playing well enough to suggest he's going to win this match now. There's the century, just underlining the weight's changed since the interval. He's been utterly dominant, in fact, since they returned. It's his 3rd century of the tournament. And it leaves him 2 frames from the final tomorrow.
115.
That's a really excellent break. And the significant thing as well is how it started. Haotian went and getting a good hand, though, from this Wuhan crowd, willing him to try and get back into the match.
Frame 7.
But for the first time, Carter's 2 in front. Remember, he only needs 2 more for victory. I think it's really about whether he can now start doing similar to Carter. If he gets a chance, can he start making the breaks? Because Carter's looking good when he gets in.
It's a really poor shot, isn't it? I mean, he'd already seen Ali Carter knock one up into that top left-hand pocket at greater distance in the frame after the mid-session. He should have not been leaving this. Not saying it's easy, but it was a bad shot to leave it in the first place. Well, he got away with it, though. Got away with it because Carter staying down on that shot, you knew there was a chance it wouldn't go in. It's a good shot from Carter there. He's opening things up. And Haotian has lost his game, it has to be said, since they came back. As well as Carter has played, Haotian has not really participated in these 2 frames so far. He missed that chance just now. Played well yesterday, of course. I mean, he would have had to beat O'Sullivan so comfortably. Well, a chance has come his way, albeit the opening red looks as if it's not exactly that straightforward. Red to the left corner, I think. Missable from where he is with the bridging and all of that. Well, it's not happening at all now. The wheel's fallen off.
Yeah, and just look at this for a scoring chance for a player who's just made 96 and 122 last 2 frames. But from Haotian's perspective, we've seen a frame already in this match where I think he'd sort of given it away from the seat, and things can happen. Things can go wrong. May get back to the table, so needs to try and remain as positive as he can. But it's been a nightmare, really, for him since the interval.
You look at the table as well, Dave. There are half a dozen reds which aren't even that difficult to get on at either end. So, you know, again, it remains a good chance, this.
11. $12. 19.
Still plenty on. The cue ball just being held here for the red to the right corner. It's one of these situations where he mightn't always be that concerned about going down for the black.
26.
There are plenty of reds strewn around the table which he can land upon. And I think now it's just, if you're Ali Carter, clearly looking to win the frame here, but occupying the table, I think, with this chance for as long as possible. That's what he would like to do. Keep Haotian in his chair
27.
and see if he can just get himself over the line, because if he gets this frame one as well, he is got 1 foot in the final, and it seems to be the way things are going. Slightly in between shots, he'd like to be a fraction straighter on this blue to hold for the red up the table.
$32. 33. $35.
Well, I think he can just about reach this without any of the long equipment under the table.
36. $41. 42.
Again, the interval has played its part. You wonder if they'd had to stay out there after that marathon fourth frame, if this would have happened. It may have done, but it just gave him a chance, that 15 minutes, to just clear his mind and focus on what was to come. Just get out of the arena. Didn't get into them, though.
46.
No, and was a fairly big target to just brush into the 5 reds. Anyway, could well be end of break. He's looking to keep the break going though with this red. I think he was it, but it's quite thin if he does play it in the middle. Great shot. What a recovery this is. Now, we'd be interested in the ping here because he might be able to screw into the bunch. Back not being on its spot. This is a terrific effort. Dave, I think you made the point, would he have done this had they carried on after that long frame? We'll never know, but I agree with you. I don't think he would have. It looked like the mid-session completely cleared his mind of all the junk that might have been going on. Because he looks a totally different player and has done ever since they came back out.
Well, yeah, when Haotian potted the red that effectively won him that 4th frame, Ali Carter marched out the arena like a man who didn't want to see this table ever again. But of course, he had the chance to just get his mind together, and my word, it's worked. He's looking superb here, and this frame should now be secured. So he's made his move, and he's played some of his best snooker of the tour.
Not very good. So just when he needed to play his
76.
best snooker of his career, he's played some of the worst. Maybe magnified by the brilliance of Carter, I have to add, because he has been superb.
Now, can he get anywhere near this last red to make another century? Either way, it's been 3 frame-winning breaks that he's made since the interval. Yeah, it's been Carter, the unstoppable potting machine, since they returned. Breaks of 96, 122 and 91 puts him on the brink of victory. Well, Haotian won a lengthy frame to make it 2-2, but since then, there's only been one player in this. It's been his opponent, but that is a terrific red. Well, if that's the start of the comeback, what a start. Worth seeing again.
Yeah, he might just got to the point of no return, which we have seen players do, where they think, well, it's not working, I'm going to just throw my cue at a few. And of course, that's how Judd Trump came back against John Higgins the other day. I'm not saying this is going to be like that because it's much too early to say, but you're almost at your wit's end, so you loosen up and go for shots. Be good to see if he does make the comeback.
Searching. 14. 19. 20.
It's funny, isn't it? Nothing sort of relaxes a player more sometimes than the idea that they can't win a match, and then suddenly you get back into it. The pressure grows when you feel you can still win. He's just opened the shoulders here, Haotian, after looking not in good shape the last few frames.
26. $33. $34.
So running out of loose threads very soon, needs to disturb something to continue.
41.
But he's getting on with this, isn't he? You can see just sort of throwing caution to the wind a little bit. Oh, but misses that one.
Haotian, 41.
Or maybe, if anything, getting ahead of himself, trying to leave the angle to get into the reds.
Didn't get very close to it. He got to 41 very quickly. I was disappointed to see him miss that one, but I suppose it's something. Didn't end on a good note with the red that he would usually get. Not sure whether he could entirely get to the potting angle there, whether he just played safe. Especially given the way he played the cue ball up the table. Had to be able to hit the red quite thin. I'm not certain he could.
Well, it's interesting now because, OK, Carter's still a heavy favourite, but he's seen Haotian come out swinging his cue at a few and, OK, didn't win the frame, but just a sense he might be dangerous if he gets another chance. Just seemed, that last visit, to just get a bit ahead of himself. Sort of really racing around the table.
Yeah, I think players sometimes are just desperate to change it so much that they'll just speed their game up, try and pretend that none of it means anything. I suppose the key is if you can just play like that all the time.
And miss. Haotian, 4.
Probably going back. Unlikely to be a huge problem second time around. Well, it looked a bit of a 50-50 one, didn't it? To be honest, I wasn't even sure that it wouldn't just drop in, go in running. But it's another ball left over the pocket. Not sure if he particularly wanted both threads in there. There are occasions when you're more than happy to see both threads drop. There he might have wanted to play that red, you know, next, or open the bunch up with the knowledge there's a red over the pocket. There's back up. Well, the bottom red on the right side might be potable through the gap here, which is quite well spotted by Carter if it does go. Tight though. Just flick the other red there, so now the two reds above the black to the left are both very much available. They weren't previously.
So he has to get this one and put himself into tomorrow's final. A big occasion it'll be, whoever he...
16.
But certainly if it's him and Judd Trump, then that'll be one to savour, two very experienced winners. I think Ali Carty just does things his own way. He doesn't fear playing anybody.
20.
He's not necessarily in the game to make friends. He's got his own friends. He just wants to win as much as he can.
21. $26. 27.
Now you'd like to make those two reds available to the left corner. Obviously potting the one that he's closest to now does just that. And then all of a sudden you really are looking at a chance to get this match closed out. When he came to the table there was a chance to get back into the frame, but such is the way he's taken them. He's moved it on to the next level here.
35.
Just got enough angle to stun off the cushion, back up behind the choice of two reds. Oh, that's good. Now, these matches are always better off finished off at the earliest opportunity before anything interesting or dramatic can happen. Carter will be fully aware that he's got to strike while the iron's hot here. If he played on the pink, he'd be concerned about where the pink would respot. Of course, if he plays the bottom red, he'll play on the black. Had he played the other red,
43.
he might have blocked this one off. Only just off the draw.
50. 51.
Perfect to get in behind the yellow. As you can see from there, the yellow's is fairly close to the cushion. It's quite an acute angle, and so coming into it from an angle means you can play it slower to get on the green. This is the shot. I think if this goes in, then Liu Shan won't come back to the table. Very nicely done.
To the interval, came out with a very positive attitude, and that was reflected in how he's won these frames.
61.
So the brown effectively match ball. Ali Carter, the first man into the Wuhan Open final.
70.
And he's done it very impressively. Liu Haotian won a lengthy fourth frame for 2 each. But after the interval, as that pink stays out, it's been all Ali Carter. Breaks of 96, 122, 91 and a closing 70. A big roar for the captain, who sails into the final of the Wuhan Open. It will be his 12th appearance in a world ranking final as he aims to win a 6th title. He's playing really good stuff. Next up for him, it's either Judd Trump or Wu Yize. He's beaten Liu Haotian 6-2.